Town Council meeting for the town of New Windsor for December 2nd, 2020 to order. All those here, please rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our meetings are recorded by Zoom. We go by agenda. Anyone wishing to have something placed on the agenda should have had it to Town Hall the previous Wednesday by 3 o'clock. All 5 council members are present. We will vote by a raise of hand. Approval of minutes from the November 4th, 2020 Town Council meeting. They have been emailed out to everybody. Would anybody like to see them? If not, do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second. And a second. We have a motion by Councilman Paulsgrove, second by Councilman Huffman to approve the minutes from the November 4th, 2020 Town Council meeting. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Raise hand. Thank you. All voted. Thank you. All right. Mayor's report. Get my report up here. There we go. Thought we were going to have problems with that. All right. Good old modern technology. All right, here we are. All right, before we get started with my report, I just want to thank everyone, council and staff and our residents for dealing with COVID-19 this past year. No one in our wildest dreams or nightmares would have thought we have ever had to conduct business this way. But we have adjusted and I think done overall a fairly well job. Knock on wood, everybody in Town Hall has been safe. And I just want to thank everybody for working together during these challenging times. On November 5th, I contacted USDA regarding information about the sewer pump stations loan to see whether or not we would be able to have it refinanced. The USDA current interest rate is lower. However, we need basically some legislation in Washington to make that happen. So I'll talk a little bit later about some options. On November 7th, Saturday, was quite a day. Vietnam veterans pinning out at Babylon Vault. They had a phenomenal program out there. They invited Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford. When I heard that he was going to be out there, I got the thought process of let's see whether or not we can get him to do a little more visitation here. So I worked with his staff, which was a phenomenal staff. We had lunch with his staff and the Lieutenant Governor down at Uncle Mattie's. Uncle Mattie's was able to talk to Lieutenant Governor a little bit about the difficulties during COVID-19, of the difficulties that he's having as owner of a restaurant, and which I'm sure Lieutenant Governor has heard around the state, but it was nice to let Uncle Mattie express his point of view. Also coordinated a visit to Lehigh Cement Company due to time restraint and limitations on the elevator. I didn't go up, but Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, Kent Martin, the assistant plant manager, and security, and another staff person and the photographer went up. It was a beautiful day that day, so they had quite a treat seeing a view from the top of the tower over at the Union Bridge. And I thought it was very important also, I got to talk to the governor towards the end of his visit here in Carroll County about some issues with New Windsor. But I thought all that Lehigh does for the community, for both communities in this county and the state, and the amount of money that they've put into the economy in the last 10 years, I guess, maybe a little bit longer now, that it was appropriate for Lieutenant Governor to go up and take a tour of the plant a little bit. And then after that, we went over to the flood zone for the United States Marine Corps' 245th birthday, where he spoke a few words, and he stayed for the entire program, which was very emotional and inspirational. They had a keynote speaker there that was just really phenomenal. He's been through a lot and lost a couple body parts, but and then at the very end, I just said, I gave him a spreadsheet of our loans and see whether or not he could help us a little bit. By the following week, I had an email from Maryland Department of Environment to see whether or not they couldn't work with us to help us with our loans. So it was a great day on November 7th for the military, but also for having Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford here. Just a little side note on the November 12th blood donation. If you get a chance to donate blood, please do. The Red Cross is trying to get their bloods sort or their inventory back up, and it's a very good opportunity for you to help out your community. Attended the Department of Housing Community Development Block Grant Workshop that was virtual. Also, we had a Zoom informational meeting on a variance request. November 21st, Saturday, Maryland Square Food Drive was very, very successful, the best we've ever had. And I think that if there's any good things out of COVID-19, it's people in our communities are really stepping forward to help volunteer and also to give to our organizations, the fire department, the Lions Club, and here the town. So it was very good. I received over 2 tons of food donated. That goes to New Windsor Food Bank. Over $2,000 donated. That also goes to New Windsor Food Bank. Approximately 75 coats donated. I didn't count them all, but I had a pretty good guess. And I took those to Second Chances in Westminster. Many personal hygiene products were donated, and that goes to the Blessing Closet at St. Paul United Methodist Church. I'd like to thank Gary, Michelle, council members Paulsgrove, Schultz, and Huffman for their support. It was very successful, as I said. And the New Windsor Lions Club that same day were giving out their subs and containers of salad. And you see there, it helped, I think, Uncle Matty's quite a bit, even though he fixed subs, I think, from about dinner time, right after dinner time on Friday night to about 3 o'clock in the morning. But hopefully it was beneficial to him. The club itself sold 159 subs, and we did this in about a 2-week period, so I was real pleased with that. And the club also bought 25 subs that we donated to the fire department. They had a drive-by for a member down at Winfield who's not doing well, and I think it helped improved his spirits a little bit. So when the fire department got back, they had some subs waiting for him. As you can see there, 49 containers of salad and 67 gift cards. So hopefully that's 67 more customers that Uncle Matty gets and spends more than that $10 gift card. On Monday, streetscape meeting with Town Manager Dye, Senator Reedy, and State Highway representatives, basically to get more funding for state to do what I feel is our fair share of getting the job done in a very presentable way. They don't want to do, as I've mentioned before, some of the most hazardous areas down on High Street where you have to walk out in the street to mow, and up on Main Street a couple places. So they're basically between $1 to $2 million apart from funding what I think is the project we deserve, and I will continue fighting for that. Contacted Cindy Stone at Department of Housing Community Development for rental assistance and also for any assistance with water and sewer bills. They do not have that, but rental assistance, I forget how much the money was, but it was given to Carroll County government to administer if anybody's having rental problems. But I followed up with Debbie Stanford. She sent me an email today. And basically, I think, Kim, you may want to touch base with Human Services Program, HSP, to find out a little bit more information if anybody is having um, problems with their rent. Financial retreat, I'm still continuing working with Towson University. The holidays is going to slow things down a little bit. But refinancing the USDA loan that I mentioned earlier, I'm working with MDE to lower interest rate and annual payment on the sewer pump station's loan. And as I get more information, I will relay that to everybody. But that's looking good, but there's some things we have to do, mainly because it was a because it is a USDA loan, and we had bonding issues, and Michelle can get involved with that. But I'm working to see whether or not we can get that lowered. So any questions for my report? All right. Council committees, community enhancement, Councilman Green.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members and residents alike joining us tonight. Couple quick things I like to point out is I like to give a big thank you to our Public Works Department, getting the Christmas tree or the Christmas time wreaths up. I know this has been a tough year for everybody, and seeing those lights lit up going down Main Street, hopefully that means there's better times ahead of us. I know working for the health department, we're excited at some point to turn our 220 plus test sites into COVID vaccination sites and get ahead of this pandemic and get it behind us. Also, I like, excuse me, I like to point out, let's support local as much as possible. We're at a point now where, as we all know, if you watch the daily news, the numbers are not looking great for us at this point. And it's important to support our local businesses during these tough times, either carry out, dine in, walk in, whatever it takes to keep our local businesses afloat at this time. There's a lot of businesses, if you really look at it, that have not recovered from the first wave, and now the second wave is upon us. And and it's important for us to understand as well, as much as we may think it takes away some civil liberties or constitutional rights, as some people like to point out, it's important that we follow the guidelines within our town limits, in our local businesses, restaurants, or other areas, that we are following the guidelines. We are wearing masks, we're properly social distancing, we're making sure that we're sanitizing, because we need to do our part to make sure that not only New Windsor, but outside of New Windsor is doing well within the state. With that, I will turn it over. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Green. Two things to tag along. And I'm not saying that we have to buy new Christmas decorations or anything, but Tawnytown, I don't know if you've gone through Tawnytown, they have some really nice lights. And I mean, I know a lot of it is on the new pedestrian lighting, which makes it a lot easier to put up, but they are really nice. So, and I'm not saying, like I say, we have to buy them next year or anything, because these aren't that old, but just when you go through a municipality, just take a look at their lights and, come back with some ideas and give them to Terry, and we can get some prices on them. But I think they are pretty sharp up in Tawnytown. So just take a look at that. And then also, Terry, I don't know if you know Maggie Kunz from Carroll County Health Department. She is a health planner. And I just reached out because I took the survey on the vaccination. I don't know if anybody's done that. It only takes about 5 minutes. So it gives the county a little bit better planning information going forward with the vaccination. And I just reached out to her, well, actually through another party, and then they put me through to Maggie. But whether or not, I know the details on vaccination have not been completed or anything. However, if it comes to the opportunity for New Windsor to have a facility, whether it's in town hall or the fire department, which I haven't reached out to or anything, or a church or the school or somewhere. I just want us to be willing and ready for that to happen. I don't, like I say, I don't know any of the aspects, and you can relate, you can fill in the blanks there, but I'm just opening the opportunity or the suggestion that we have a place ready if it comes to that point. Ed, you're on the board of directors at the fire hall, see whether or not we could use the fire hall, or the school or wherever. But I just think that if they start coming in the masses, and I know it's going to be a slow process with the first responders getting it before, the residents do, but, and there's going to be other options with the pharmacies and doctor's offices and different places. But if it would help our community to have a place, I'd just like for you to kind of touch base with the Carroll County Health Department and stay on top of that, if you would, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And what I anticipate happening is Carroll County Ag Center has the largest test site in Carroll County. That would probably be the primary first spot for it, but I would also lobby for New Windsor to have a facility as well. And that's something I can do at my level.
I appreciate it. And each municipality may not be in the game plan, but, I know as president of the Untitled Chapter, I can get all eight of us to get on board and offer a facility if that's the way to go. But, if you just stay on that top for me, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Public Works, Councilman Huffman.
Good evening, everyone. Well, the Public Works has been busy putting up the Christmas decorations and doing the fall leaf cleanup. As Councilman Green said, the wreaths are up along all the poles and do look very well, very good. I appreciate them taking care of that. It does make a nice glow in the town. This week may be the last week for leaf pickup. And on good news, the leaf machine has worked really great this year. So we didn't have any problems at all with it. And the guys were able to use it and did a great job for us. We were on the schedule today to have a new live Christmas tree installed at the Main Street Park. I did not get up there this afternoon, so I'm not sure if that happened or not, but we are scheduled to have a new tree placed there. Public Works Director Myers has informed me he's been checking on our new truck, and although it's not delivered yet, it's still in the production. So we should be expecting that relatively soon. The Public Works crew have putting their list of winter projects that they're going to be working on. It includes some new sign installation and some replacement of others, and a big project, the repair of the Blue Ridge Sediment Pond Road. And Church Street will get new signage delineating it as a 5-ton limit road. So lots of things that will be happening as well around town during the winter. And the Planning Commission did not meet in the month of November.
Thank you, Councilman.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Water and Sewer, Councilman Paulsgrove.
Good evening, everyone. I want to just ditto on what Councilman Green shared and the fact that we have done a good job, but we need to continue to keep doing what we can and doing our part to stay ahead of this pandemic as best we can. In terms of water and sewer, our Director of Public Works, Wayne Myers, indicates that there are no major issues at this time. So in that regard, no news is good news. However, they are continuing to do some routine maintenance kinds of things and planning for the future. So I feel like they're getting a really good handle on our water and sewer issues, which gives us comfort in knowing that we're going to have reliable service through those ventures. That's all I have at this point.
Thank you. No clogs lately, huh? Knock on wood. Yeah. Thank you, Councilman. Public Safety, Councilman Smith.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I received Deputy Colosi's report for tonight. A lot of what he's going to present, I was going to present as well. We are at the time of season where thefts are on the rise. They have seen that a little bit in this county with thefts from vehicles and packages that are left on the porch. I've talked about that quite a bit. Um, and with the pandemic going on, there's going to be even more than usual ordering items through the internet and through mail and having deliveries made. So just be aware of that. If you can come up with a game plan to have those packages delivered to a secure location, or neighbors keep an eye on it, that would probably behoove you and make this crime of opportunity less likely to happen. So that's some of the things that I was going to touch on anyhow. So a lot of what Deputy Colosi has in his report, I would address as well. With that being said, prior to the Thanksgiving holiday, I reached out to Sheriff DeWeese in reference to what the enforcement efforts were going to be on part of the Sheriff's Department as the primary law enforcement agency for Carroll County, and through Senator Reedy's office, or in conjunction with Senator Reedy's office, Sheriff DeWeese released a public statement. I think that statement, if anybody had a chance to read it, and I won't go over it, but that statement was probably one of the most responsible, well-written policies that I've seen from common sense approach policies from any law enforcement agency. He basically said what I already knew, is that one of the reasons Carroll County has been on the low end of things is because of the cooperation of our citizens. We haven't seen a lot of the violations. I think statewide there were 0 arrests made over the Thanksgiving holidays, but we seem to be very compliant. You have that 1 or 2 person that want to make issues about things, but overall we've been very compliant, very diligent. Our law enforcement community has been very diligent in handling these complaints in a common sense approach. Our leaders at the health department and throughout the allied agencies in Carroll County, they have been very common sense approach about this entire situation, and our citizens have done a fantastic job in complying. Even if you don't agree with it, it seems that most people in Carroll County are respecting the order to the point of compliance. And I think that's a very a good thing. I think that the sheriff's approach to this was incredibly responsible, and I'm happy to say that there were no incidents in Carroll County when it came to violating the governor's order. The other thing that I'd like to bring up is I know there were some concerns about the permit for Hartzler's Funeral Home to have a crematorium built to their property. And with that being said, the Department of the Environment has scheduled 2 informational meetings in reference to the air quality issues that people may have or concerns. And I think that's, again, very responsible part on all the parties to make sure that people are aware of what is actually going to occur, and even more importantly, give them a chance to express their concerns and have their questions answered. Those meetings are going to be done in 2 different ways. On December 8th at 7 p.m., there's going to be a virtual meeting. The link is rather long, so I'm hoping that maybe we can get it posted somewhere.
It's
so
already on the page in the
okay
group. It's already on there.
I apologize. I haven't had a chance to really review that page. I've been out on the COVID protocols myself, having just been tested, and I have to wait for the results. Hopefully they'll be back tomorrow, because staying in the house is driving me crazy. But in that meeting on December 8th at 7 p.m. is going to be a virtual meeting. There's going to be an in-person meeting on December 14th at 7 p.m. at Hartzler's Funeral Home. Spaces on that are very, very limited for obvious reasons. There's limited space in there because social distancing rules will have to be abided by. So there's 2 opportunities for any citizen that has any questions, comments, concerns, or just wants to be aware of what's going on there. Again, I thank the Department of the Environment and Hartzler's Funeral Home for making that happen. I know it's a requirement, so but even so, I think that everybody involved is doing their best to make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. Other than that, I will defer to our capable town deputy to provide the rest of the details for public safety. Thank you.
Yeah, the MDE hearing, I received a 2-page letter, and the entire 2-page letter is on both the page and the group. And the page we can talk about right now with Economic Development, Councilwoman Schultz.
Good evening, everyone. And I just want to repeat what Councilman Green said about the lights, because I just happened to drive by the town park gazebo this evening, just a little bit before the meeting, and it just looks lovely. So I was going to email Director Myers, but give it a shout out publicly. What a great job they all did with that. Unfortunately, the Small Business Saturday Passport program got canceled at the last minute, and they decided because of COVID not to do it. There was a concern about promoting people being out and about with a lot of what the governor has been talking about lately in his numbers, and also a concern that, you know, a lot of people won't be doing a lot of shopping anyway. So that was just kind of a last minute decision. So I informed all the businesses in town that had planned to participate. And so again, echoing Councilman Green, I want to remind everybody to shop small and to please support our local businesses. And when the mayor was giving his report, I was very happy to see that Uncle Mattie's sold a lot of gift certificates. We have several eateries in town. I believe they all sell gift certificates. And so don't some of the other small businesses. And this is a great way to sort of give twice, because most of the time when people use a gift certificate, they spend more money than what the gift certificate covers. So it's a really great way to support our small businesses. And I know that my family will be buying several gift certificates and giving them as gifts this year from our local businesses. Actually, had a note already in my notes, as the mayor brought up. I sit on the board of directors for the Human Services Program for Carroll County, which is representing the Windsor, which is our community action program. And the mayor had emailed me a couple of weeks ago about a specific concern around eviction. And I'll send this to Donna, so you don't have to try to get this down. And I'll also put it online. HSP has 2 housing programs. One is a eviction prevention program, and the other is specifically for folks who are homeless, to get them rental assistance. And the best way to get those is to just call them during their normal business hours at 410-857-2999. But like I said, I'll send that to you, Donna, and I'll also post it. So I hope folks that need that can go ahead and take advantage of that. Sort of on another assistance program, I was in another meeting today, and there's still some COVID CARES money left. So if any small businesses haven't applied for that, the deadline for filing the paperwork is coming up. So, and as the mayor started me off with, if you haven't already seen it, we started a Facebook page. Kalina had the website updated, so folks clicking on the Facebook link on our website will now get the page. And I've been trying to make sure anything that we post gets shared in both, because I know a lot of folks are still going to the group, but the group is going to be shut down on December 31st. The page is a little different. Visitors can post things, but they don't show up in the newsfeed immediately. And because we're going to be approving things to make sure we don't get, like we complained about before, we would get, some Montgomery County cleaning company or something, which isn't the point. And the other thing is that if it gets posted by an administrator, it shows up better in your news feed. So if you have information that you want posted, please email the mayor or Kalina or myself, and we'll get that posted for you. And if you have any questions about that, anybody can feel free to contact me via my email or Facebook Messenger. That's all I have.
Thank you. And just to kind of tag along on that gift card, we have several businesses that do have gift cards, and they are a good last second idea, and they're also a great Christmas stocking stuffer. So if you get me any, just keep it under $50. That way I don't have to report it. Just saying. Community deputy. Let's see if we can get your report up here. Hold on a second. Come here. Here we are. The one with a star. Okay, Brian.
All right, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office between the dates of November 1st, 2020 to November 30th responded to 73 calls for service within the town limits. Out of those 73 calls, only 2 required reports, which were the following. On November 7th at approximately 11:17 a.m., deputies responded to the 300 block of Maple Avenue, reference to a malicious destruction of property. Upon arrival, it was discovered that unknown suspects spray painted a retaining wall at the location. During the investigation, the suspect was later identified as a juvenile. Juvenile was referred to the Department of Juvenile Services, and the case was since been closed by arrest. On November 8th at approximately 6:20 p.m., deputies responded to the area of High Street and Co Drive for an injured deer that was struck by a vehicle. Upon arrival, deputies located the deer and had to euthanize the deer due to its injuries. Case was closed. Other notes, winter weather will be soon upon us. And just a reminder that if a snow emergency is declared, all vehicles, including trailers and campers that are parked along a posted snow emergency route, will be required to be removed off the streets. Failure to remove your vehicle could result in a $70 traffic citation or tow bill. Please monitor the weather and check Maryland Coordinated Highway Action Response Team website at chart.maryland.gov for a list of all active snow emergencies during the winter weather. It is that time of year. As the holiday season is quickly approaching us, please remember these helpful tips that could help assist you from becoming a victim this holiday season. Remove your packages in a timely manner in order to help stop the porch pirates from stealing them. If you cannot get to the package in a timely manner, contact a trusted neighbor or relative to collect them for you. Remember to park in well-lit areas and hide or remove anything from value. In your vehicles before getting out of them. Always lock your vehicles even when at home. And always break down boxes from those expensive gifts that Santa gave you before placing them on the curb or take them to the landfill yourself. And on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, we hope that everybody has a safe and joyful holiday season. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. And I know Councilman Smith has mentioned many times about those boxes that you get for Christmas, you know, something big or something. If you put it out for recycle and people can walk by and see that you got a big old TV or something, they now know what's inside your house. So I know Councilman Smith has mentioned that in past years. Just remember, like Master Deputy Brian Calusi just said, break them down and do not probably put them face up so that people can see what you got for Christmas. So just try to be as safe as possible. Fire Chief Byron, I think you're still on. Yeah, let me get your report here. Come on. Hold on. There we go. All right. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay. Calls for the month of November, we had 34 fire calls and 43 EMS calls, bringing our totals to 250 fire calls and 529 EMS calls. One thing not on here that I wanted to add, coming into the holiday season, paper, wrapping paper, cardboard, all that. It's not a good idea to throw it into your fireplace and burn it. That stuff goes up the chimney and causes more havoc than good. So, but on that note, we at the fire department want to wish everybody best holiday wishes this year. Have a safe holiday season. And just remember, as we move into the holidays, the pandemic isn't over. So don't let your guard down and relax precautions you've been taking this year. One other thing, check our website. Santa is still coming to town. The pandemic's not going to slow him down or stop him. I believe the dates are the 8th, the 10th, and the 15th. But check the website for sure. And he'll be coming around. We won't be handing out candy canes like we have in the past, but we still will be riding around with Santa, and he'll still be able to see the kids. That's all.
Thank you. Chief, do you have a date when the fire hydrant markers will be put up?
No, I don't. Our guy that normally does that doesn't live in the area anymore. So I got to find out whether he's coming back to do that or not. He moved to Emmitsburg. So
Okay.
see if his still going to be his project this year or not. So, but I'll figure out a date and get back to you with that.
All right. In case of snow, and I just have a feeling we're going to get a lot of snow, if you are live around a fire hydrant, clear it out. So in case it's needed, they don't have to waste time and take time to get to the fire hydrant. Even if it's not right at your house, if it's a couple houses up, make sure that the fire hydrant is clear, because if it's a couple houses up, most likely that fire hydrant would be the one they use for your house. So just keep that in mind. Try to clear them out the best you can.
Yep.
So,
give us a couple feet around it and plenty of room to work with it.
thank you, Chief. Town Manager.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I have about a half dozen brief notes here while Neil works on getting my report up. Just some upcoming meeting reminders. The December 21st work session meeting is canceled. The January work session meeting will be on Tuesday, January 19th, due to the Martin Luther King holiday, and the February work session will be on Tuesday, February 16th, due to President's Day holiday. FY 2022 budget. It will soon be budget time again, and the COVID-19 pandemic appears likely to be a factor with our budget for a second year. We're going to plan on a conservative approach and not doing nearly as many budget options as last year. Mayor and council should start to think about any specific items you want to review, increase or decrease, or any new light items to add. Mayor and council tablets. Corey with Maryland IT Solutions, who attended the November work session, has prepared and submitted 3 to 4 quotes. Actually, it was 4 quotes. We were able to take advantage of Black Friday deals and got a very good price on 15-inch HP laptops. Town manager approved the most recent quote and invoice on November 30th. And Corey has placed the order for the laptops, the office licenses, wireless mouse, and wireless headsets, and equipment configuration and setup. So town manager will provide an update after the computers are received and set up. Snyder Summit subdivision. Phase 1 sales have been going very well, much better than expected. Town manager had a long conversation with Paul Muller. He is Summit First Wave, the developer of Snyder Summit. Mr. Muller plans to start phase 2 construction mid-December of this year. The Public Works agreement is for all 3 phases, but each phase will have its separate bond and inspection amount. Mr. Muller submitted the contractor's construction cost for phase 2 today, and I can now establish the bond amount and send that to Mr. Muller. We're waiting on the proposal for inspection on behalf of the town from WBCM for phase 2. Phase 1 is complete except for surface paving, which will be done upon completion of phase 3 at the end of the project. That's standard procedure to do the surface at the very end. The phase 1 bond will be reduced to 5% of the original bond plus the cost to surface pave phase 1 at their date, which has been provided by Mr. Muller. So that's good news on Snyder Summit subdivision. Public Works position. The advertisement notice for Public Works maintenance worker position was submitted to Carroll County Times on Wednesday, November 18th, and will run 3 consecutive Sundays, November 22nd, the 29th, and this upcoming Sunday, December 6th. The notice has been submitted to MML, posted on the Town Hall Bulletin Board and town website. Applications are due Friday, December 11th at 3 p.m. References will be checked and interviews scheduled first week of January. So hopefully we'll get several good candidates for that. I'll keep you posted on that. And then lastly, citizens complaints. There's been much discussion at recent council meetings about citizen complaints pertaining to water and sewer rates and other things. However, the complaints are not making it to our monthly complaint log because residents are not calling town to make their complaints known to staff. The best way to make an official complaint and have it logged into the town record is to call Town Hall at 410-635-6575 Monday through Friday between 9 and 3 p.m. and speak to staff directly. You can also call after hours and leave a detailed message. Complaints on social media do not get recorded in the town complaint log. So just wanted to point that out and state the best way to register your complaints with the town record. And that's all I have for my report.
Whether you or Councilman Paulsgrove, what's the status on blacktopping up at the reserve?
I was going to add, after hearing what Manager Dye shared, that they just started today to, they're putting the first coat. It'll be a 2-coat process, but they're putting the final paving on up in the reserve. And those of us that have been here for 10 years, it's been a long time coming. And I know Deputy Calusi has commented on the roller coaster ride that he's taken through our development. They're going to be smoothing that out, and it'll be smooth sailing from here on out. So we're glad to see that happening.
On that note, I will add that Mr. Racevic, the developer up there, I'm sure you've noticed, Ed, and anyone that's been up there, around the 2 inlets on Slinghuff Lane, there's a depression on each side near the inlets. So he volunteered to repair that section of Slinghuff for us while his paving crew's in there. So just an added note, a little bit extra paving work for the town.
And where you want to, I don't know, you want to make any other comments on the past paving project that has just been completed?
The only thing on that was I did hear from Josh with CP. Actually, I meant to put that in, so thanks for reminding me. They're going to be, the last thing they got to do is striping on the crosswalk on Spore Line next to Town Hall, and then on the Main Street work that they did. So that, I believe, is going to be scheduled either tomorrow or Friday to get that done. They subbed that work out to a contractor, and they do multiple projects together, at the same time. And then also just talking with Josh with CPE, he walked the project at the end of the paving, and he's personally not happy with 2 sections of road. So he's gonna, when they come in to do the striping, he wants to meet with me and take a look at those and see what we want to do. It might not be now because we're getting to the end of the paving season and the plants are going to be shutting down, but that's just a note to let you know how detail oriented these guys are and how they want to keep their customers happy, which they've really done a good job. So thanks for pointing that out, Neil.
Yeah, I know when you told me about, that you weren't happy with a couple of spots, and I think you said that it was probably a mixture of the paving, the asphalt itself. It wasn't at the right temperature and the right mixture and everything. And it really wasn't their fault. They did the best they can. But I mean, I think anybody that's ever seen a dump truck pour out the asphalt, sometimes it looks like it's almost very liquidy and you can spread it out very easily. And then sometimes, I guess if it gets a little colder, it doesn't mix or spread out as easy. But just the fact that they came back and said, hey, there's a couple of things we want to fix, I think that says a lot for the company.
Yeah, the specs that we had were for the bitumen or the asphalt paving for base and surface were for state highway spec. So they make that at the plants. And, you know, each day from day to day, those mixtures are a little bit different. And again, it's nothing on the contractor, because the contractor calls and orders 20 tons of base or 20 tons of surface over and over again on truckloads. And most of that, I think all that paving actually came from Frederick. So, you know, it just depends on the mix at the plant, exactly how it's done, the temperature outside. And, you know, they do the best they can. But when you, like Neil said, when you see it at the right optimum temperature, it's very much like liquid. When it hits, it's much easier to work with. So, but we'll see what we come up with in those couple sections, and I'll keep you posted on that as well.
Righty. Treasurer's report.
Good evening. Neil, if you can pull up the general spreadsheet first, please.
Go back to email.
I thought that since we've completed our first quarter of the new budget year, I wanted to share how our revenue figures were looking for both funds with Mayor and Council tonight. So while the mayor is bringing that up, I will report that in the real properties segment, we have 10 homes available at Snyder Summit and the final 2 in the reserve. So reserve's really wrapping up, but Snyder Summit is off and running. So that's a good thing.
I don't know.
Mayor and council, or the council, I sent that to all of you. Do you all have that open?
When did you send it?
This afternoon.
Anybody else have it?
Did council receive theirs?
Yeah, I got it. I can forward it to you, Neil.
Thank you. I see the minutes.
I think I have it. I'm pretty sure I got it. I remember getting it. I just got to find it. Oh, here it is.
You can share it if you want.
I just hit send. So you should be getting.
In there a little bit. All right. General first, Donna.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Well,
Coming. Hold on.
that's okay.
There we go. There we go. Okay.
Okay. If everyone can see that. So basically, the income for the cell lease is right on target. We usually don't have any issues there with any of them paying their rent. Under the taxes, you can see the comparison there to the budget figure. We had allowed 420,000 for this year, and we're already at to 294 plus. Personal property is right on task. State tax is looking better than I thought at this point. So,
But that's always all over the place, isn't it?
there's 2 months that we don't get anything, which is December and April. So we won't get anything on the local tax this month. And then the state highway, as usual, is I'll say the hare in the group and not, or the tortoise in the group, not the hare. So we always are very delinquent. We've already got all of the Carroll County grant money. What I really wanted to point out was our impact fees and our ad fees. And as you can see, we've doubled that already. And that's because Snyder's is moving right along. So we're looking good. Surprisingly, I think we're in good shape. Any questions on that portion? And when you get a chance, Mayor, if you could pull up the enterprise. Okay. So basically, if you look at the figures there, the same thing with our hookup fees and our meter purchase and everything is already over what we had allotted because of Snyder's. The billing figures, they'll change because we've really only had 1 quarter, so you can't really rely on that just yet. So that's the way we're looking in the enterprise and in the general right now. Next month, I hope to give you some expense comparisons so that you can see where we are.
Very good.
Any questions? And the only other thing I wanted to kind of bring up was, I know it's early, but at the January meeting, we need to discuss the town election and how we want to handle that if the COVID situation is still, bad. So I'm just putting the bug in your ear.
Well, that's a good point, Donna. And I have in announcements, I think everybody got the email, the Maryland Municipal League chapter meeting virtual next Thursday at 7. So hopefully one of us will remember to see how everybody else is doing their election so we can get some input from the other municipalities. So good point, Donna. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's all. And happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. You too, Donna, and your family.
Thank you.
Old business, 201 Main Street, RFP update.
Let me see.
Can we share that again? Let's see here.
Yeah, you can bring it up if you like. The 201 Main Street Park, the RFP was released Friday, November 6th, advertised in Carroll County Times for 2 consecutive Sundays. We submitted it to MML and email marketplace. There was a mandatory pre-bid meeting scheduled for November 20th at 10 a.m. However, we didn't have any contractors show up for that meeting. Mike is due. Mike's helping me with this, with the RFP and the project open space projects, among other things. He's due back in Windsor tomorrow, so we're going to discuss how to proceed. If the council has any comments or suggestions. I did get a call today from Clyde Hurt with Douglas Lawn and Landscape, and he is interested in the project. He didn't know about it through any of the venues that we had it publicized, but he does have the RFP now. So I told him once Mike and I talk and we decide how to proceed, I guess we can extend it, obviously, somehow. I just want to make sure with Mike that we address any or meet any of the POS requirements in terms of rebidding and going through that process. Just if it's simply an extension or what, I'll find out and talk with Mike tomorrow. But I told Clyde I would be in touch with him once we find out.
Yeah, Gary, I also not only did I reach out to Clyde, and then I told him to give you a call because he had some questions that I couldn't answer as far as grading and different things. And I thought the RFP had most everything in there, but he was questioning some things. And I told him I wasn't expecting him to be able to come up with a proposal by Friday, but he is, like you said, he is very interested. And if anybody wants to know what kind of work Douglas Lawn and Landscape, and I'm not saying that they're going to get the bid or anything, but they did the War Memorial. I think back in 2009, when I first was elected as mayor, we redid that whole section down there, and they were under a time frame to get it done by our Memorial Day service, and they did an outstanding job. They've also done the brick work down at the ball fields on Lions Club field, the backstop brick work, so paving work there. So then I also talked to Tim at Playground Specialist and sent him the RFP, and I also sent it to Clyde. He was the one that looked at it and then called Gary. But Tim, I'm not sure if this is really the type of work that they do. They do really more like playground, like over the Lions Club Park. But I think we probably need to reach out to more landscaping firms directly and going forward. That's my opinion. But you know, it was nice to hear that Clyde was very interested in eventually taking a look at it. So going forward, like I said, I think we just need to reach out to some landscaping companies.
Yeah, I have from when we did, whoops, I'm still on. From when we did the retaining wall on College Avenue, I had reached out to a couple landscape companies for that. And the company that did it was, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. I think it's Schischler's. That's the family name, but I'll reach out to them, and then anyone else on that list that I contacted before, when we find out just how we want to go about rebidding it.
All right. Any questions on that? The 201 Park? All right. New business, delinquent water and sewer bills.
Okay. I wanted to provide some numbers on past due water and sewer bills, and kind of Kalina has been, as you all know, has been taking on the billing clerk responsibilities, and is getting up and running and familiar with the program and everything. And she's able to run various reports with our utility billing software. And I asked her to run reports for customers who are 90 and 120 days past due, and then also get a number for our current number of water and sewer customers. And as you'll see in my report, or you can see there, that we do have many accounts that are past due, which equates to a lot of outstanding revenue. In the past quarters, we've sent letters to customers who are past due, but we've had little response on that. We have not sent letters this most recent quarter. The state of emergency is still in effect with COVID, but I believe the governor's executive order prohibiting utility shutoff has expired. Now, I'm not in any way campaigning or advocating that the town shut off customers' water during these difficult times, but I just wanted to get these numbers up and kind of give you an idea of the numbers and where we are. Additionally, we only have about 8 to 10 what I'll call special payment plans, and all those date back prior to pre-COVID. We have approximately 180 customers who pay monthly at this time. Now this varies from month to month. You'll have customers that will pay monthly one quarter, and then next quarter they'll pay the whole thing. But we got about 180 that are paying monthly at this time. So you can see the current water customer accounts are 621, and the current sewer accounts are 561. So on that report, the 90-day past due report, there's 140 accounts, 76 at 90 days and 64 at the 120. So if you're on the 120 list, you're obviously on the 90-day list too. That total revenue is a little over 27,000, as you can see. The highest amount due was 1890, and the lowest amount due is 101.47. And then on the 120-day past due, it's 64 counts. Total revenue is 13,089. Highest amount due is $1,484, and lowest amount is $116.77. So just was able to work with Kalina on pulling those different reports together, and just wanted to share some of that information with you all.
And I don't think anybody is in pushing for any water cutoffs during these difficult times, like
Yeah.
you said. So, but I think we may need to maybe in the next newsletter, or maybe just a letter to these individuals, that if they are in need of a plan, to work with Donna and Kalina sooner than later. You know, it's not going to get any lower if they don't pay anything. But you know, Donna has, over the years, ever since I've been mayor, been very helpful to residents that get behind for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be COVID. It's just, you know, just the time sometimes that people run into, that the difficulties of life. So, and I don't think we're going to cut anybody off. I'm not advocating for that at all, but I think we do need to express ourselves that we are willing to help anybody and everybody during these difficult times the best we can.
I have two questions related to this.
Mhm.
Number one, do those of you that are involved in the billing just kind of have a rough guess as to how these numbers, and I guess I'm looking specifically at the 140 accounts that are past due, how would that compare to a year ago at this time? Anybody got an estimate on that?
I would have to pull a report. I don't know on top of my head.
Okay, I just wonder if it's a 50% increase or a 90% increase in delinquent accounts or whatever. The other is that there's two highest amounts. One is 1,890 and one's 1,484. Are those residential customers, or are those, they're not commercial customers?
The residential.
Okay.
Some of those, like the lowest amount, that looks like a 1 month thing that they're just haven't got caught up. So, you know, when I saw these numbers the other day, it was the 30th, and it's very possible that, you know, they've paid that off 1st of December. I don't know, but it would be interesting to keep a monthly tabulation on this. So thank you, Gary, for putting that out there for everybody.
Okay, you're welcome.
Town hall building remaining open to public.
Okay, this has come up several times in various at various points with various folks this evening. The COVID number 19s are on the rise in Maryland and just about every state. Wanted to discuss the town hall building, you know, remaining open to the public, you know, coming to the end of the year here. We have posted a mask required prior to entry sign on the front door, and we do have plenty of masks available if someone comes in and doesn't have one, or they left it out in the car. We have a box right there at the front door. All the staff are wearing masks when moving around about the building and during meetings. All meetings with the public outside of the office and public work staff are being held in the public meeting room out front, which we have set up to where we can, you know, easily social distance with meetings. The public use of the bathrooms is restricted for the most part at this time. The public visitation to town hall on a daily basis remains low and is contained to the public meeting room and the walk-up window. More than likely, the COVID numbers will continue to rise, especially in the next couple of weeks, especially with the recent Thanksgiving holidays, entering into the flu season, and then, of course, the upcoming Christmas and New Year's holidays. The town will follow any specific direction or recommendation from the governor's office regarding municipal public buildings. But just thought I would throw that out there. I mean, I think we're working within the requirements very well. I don't see any specific need at this point to make a move, but just wanted to get your all's opinion on that as well, and just bring that up.
But bottom line is, everyone's safety and health. And, I guess it's a good thing in a way that we don't have a lot of foot traffic into town hall. However, if at any time, Kalina, if you want to pop in here, if you feel like it's time for us to lock the door, don't hesitate letting Gary know. And just not because you're having a bad day or you don't want Gary in or something, but no, if you feel like, the people that are coming in are hacking and coughing beyond normal, we need to take measures to ensure the safety and health of all of our employees. So I know it's a small crew down there and you're all talking to one another. So, it can be a day-to-day thing where you have a discussion, and if you see the numbers going up, and that's where they're going, especially probably in the next 2 weeks to after Christmas even. If we need to lock the door, I think people will understand that they will have to do business either by phone, email, or special appointments. So I think I have the entire council behind me on that one. Your health and safety is first and foremost.
I mean, honestly, it's basically the regular monthly older ones that come in and drop checks off, and that's about it. We really don't have too many others. So it's been pretty slow, maybe 1 or 2 people a day, if that, sometimes none.
Okay. Anybody have anything else on that or any other new business? Okay, a couple weeks ago, Councilwoman Schultz sent me an email or a text message. I can't remember what it was, but Mary Jane Acker had a old desk from Charlie Bachman. Now, all of you know Charlie, right? No. Trick question. But Charlie, I think, was the charter treasurer for the fire department for probably 25, 30 years. But he also had the hardware store. And when he closed the hardware store, Everett Ecker bought this huge desk. And Mary Jane would like to donate it to somebody. And I've put feelers out to the fire department through Tommy Coe, and I think he talked to Steve Kuntz. So Ed, if you could follow up on that, just whether or not the fire department would want a piece of history of Charlie Bachman, or I know we have an office here, but I don't know how big it is, but apparently it's a pretty big desk that is part of the town history. Well, not, we would want it. I'll take a look at it and maybe send pictures around. But if the fire department, I'm pretty sure Charlie was, I think we've only had 3, well, with Ed and Marcy Munshire now co-treasurers, we've only had 2 other treasurers in the history of the fire department. I think it was Charlie Bachman and then Jack Coe, of course, for about 50 years. So just some history there. Think about it, but it's got some history there. So any other new business? Any residents' concerns? Not seeing anything. Chat with me if you want. Announcements. New Windsor Lions Club next Monday is doing Christmas house and door judging. And they have signs made up that will go in that person's front yard on who wins first, second, or third in both categories. I want to say it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock when they'll start going around, but it's next Monday on the 14th. I mentioned earlier, Maryland Municipal League Chapter Zoom meeting Thursday, the 10th at 7 p.m. No work session that was mentioned earlier. One thing that was mentioned by Gary earlier was about the budget. We do have to take a very serious look at the next year's budget. However, as of today, the House has proposed a $908 billion stimulus package. Now that's less than what was original. So they've come down, I think, to work better with the Republican Senate. However, when I was talking, this has been back in May, I guess, with Congressman Raskin's office, we were going to be getting about $400 and some thousand this year. Now, I don't know what those numbers are. Julie in his office we're probably emailing at least once a week just to see what's going on. I think some package will be approved sooner than later. I don't think it's going to wait until after the inauguration, but who knows what can happen. Don't bet on anything that on that stimulus package. However, we need to take a very serious look at how we want to appropriate that money. So once we do, I think maybe whether we have just a work session on that or something, we could maybe take a look at paying off a loan, either for the town hall or a water bill, or more paving or different things. So take a look, or just start thinking of things in a practical way if we were to get $400,000 extra this year. Like I say, I don't know what those numbers are, but I think we will be getting something. And hopefully, I don't know when that would come out. So I don't know how it works, but as soon as I hear more details, I'll let everybody know. So there is kind of a little light at the end of the tunnel. I just didn't want anybody to not be aware of that. I think I've been mentioning that. Do wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays, and hopefully it's a Happy New Year. Everybody's been through a lot this year that nobody ever anticipated. So, and be safe. As we've heard multiple times, this thing's not going to go away. So we need to wear that mask and stay healthy and safe. I would like for a motion to go to closed session for personnel issue.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Green, second by Councilman Paulsgrove to go to closed session. I will stop recording the meeting and wait until everybody steps down. I just need the council members. Thank you very much for everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.
need-
Merry Christmas.
You need to vote on that.